Hey everyone, good morning. I know, what if I just sang every single morning? What if they tuned in to listen to me sing? Hi everyone, it's the Teach Better Today morning show, and we are so excited to be here. I promise not to sing anymore. I apologize in advance for those of you that were not mentally prepared for that fun to.
That was right away. That was a lot.
It was a lot. I apologize. We could restart the show. Maybe we'll just like, like.
Hey everyone, welcome to Teach Better Today.
Oh, Katie Miglin in the house. We'll be right back. We're going to have really in-depth discussion. And actually, for the start of our show, could you please, if you're listening or if you're watching us like live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or LinkedIn, could you please go get a glass of water? Because it will be literally a part of our first discussion. And then we'll get into like the scrambled eggs and bacon with hash browns later. Good morning, everyone. Katie Miglin in the house. My name is Rae Hughart. And Hughart. It's like Hugh Grant with an art. And yeah, I don't know. Good morning. Glad you're awake. Glad you're up.
Glad you joined us.
Yeah, glad you're like, starting your day off with, what would that be? Ridiculousness? Did you just take a sip of water like you are mentally preparing for the fun we're about to have?
I am.
Okay. Okay. So I know that we could like ease into this, but why bother?
Guys, let's just go for it.
There is a big debate happening in my household, and I would like to set the record straight. And you guys know I always use our Teach Better community to do so, because while I know this is like an educator podcast and we're all trying to be better each and every day, you know that I use this beginning section to like solve all the life's questions.
Yeah.
Right. Which I'm not I'm not sorry about. Like, people in the comments, like, I trust your opinion, you run my life.
Okay. Like, it's fine. You gave people a lot of power right now, but yeah, okay. So
if you guys ever had a question that you were like, am I right or am I wrong? I would hope you would come here and we would just give you the brutal, honest truth.
I do appreciate a brutal, honest truth. Yes. Okay. So the debate is,
I was drinking water.
Yes. Good job.
And thank you. And the debate is, where do you fill up your water? And I'm not talking about like if you're in school and you like an easy spot. That's not what I'm discussing. I'm discussing, will you like drink tap water? Will you fill it up like only filtered water? Are there actually pros and cons? Like, I know that different water bottles taste different. Like, if you get a Dasani, is that what's called? Dasani?
Oh, like it's like a bottle of water.
If it's a bottle of water, I know water tastes different depending on the mountain, spring. Yeah, those all taste different. I'm talking about in your world. Let's talk about in your home, because like I just feel like, again, school only gives you so much access to certain things, and time will come into a factor. But in your home, will you fill up water in the sink? Will you only drink filtered water? Is there a difference?
I think it comes down to how cold do you want it?
Oh, okay. That wasn't the route I was going to go for it.
Filtered water, if you have one of those fridges that like you put, it has like the water spout on it, or if you have like a Brita or some sort of filtration system inside your fridge, those are both going to be the colder options. Sink can be cold, but not as cold. It's not like.
But if you add ice, then anything can be cold.
True. So, but I think that is the difference too.
But are there people that refuse to drink tap water? And I'm not talking about people in other countries. I'm not talking about people that
You're talking about like average person who doesn't have to think about it, like this
average American, not somebody who's on a boil order. Like, obviously, if there is a health issue with your tap water, that is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, that doesn't count. I'm talking about, like, I live in Chicago suburbs.
Your tap water is fine.
My tap water is fine from some people's perspective, and yet many will still add a filtration system to their refrigerator or a filtration system to their Brita. And that's what I'm
Okay, if I'm at my house, I just use my fridge, like, because we have the door has, like, the water.
Okay, you're bougie, but that has a filtration system. So do you use
Yeah,
the fridge because of the filter or
that's my point.
because
I do it just because it's, like, mediocre cold because I don't like ice water. I just like normal, like, cooled water. But if I'm at someone's house and they don't have that type of fridge, and honestly, even if they don't have, like, a Brita, I just ask them. Like, if I'm filling up my water, I'll just go, what water do you guys drink? Because some people are like, we drink the tap water. It's totally fine. It tastes fine. And some people are like, oh, yeah, it's kind of funky. We have like a filtration system.
but why is tap water not acceptable everywhere is my question.
Because sometimes I think it does have a different taste. I don't
It's
necessarily.
not well water. I'm not talking about well water.
No, I think some places do. Like some cities have different, like just different tastes. I'm not saying it's like safe or not safe. I just think it tastes different. So if I'm somewhere that I don't know, I just ask the owner of the home.
Here's my question. I want to know, someone in the comments, can you invite me over to your house to have me taste your tap water? Because I don't think that tap water tastes different house to house.
Then yeah, then that's your go-to.
But Matt, for example, my
Mhm.
Matt will not drink tap water
Ever.
ever. It
So
has to be filtered.
if he goes to someone's house and they don't have a filtration system, he would prefer a bottle of water over drinking a
I
glass.
guess I don't know. I just know that in our home, he will only drink the filtered water. And if, like, I yesterday, like, put ice in my handy dandy, whatever that is, and I put ice in, and then I walked over to the sink and filled it up. And he was like, "Why didn't you use the Brita?" And I'm like, "Well, my theory, and this is laziness, but my theory is like, you have to refill the Brita. It's annoying."
Yeah.
So, like, yes, it's right there, but the more I use the Brita, then I have to eventually take the Brita out, which it's enormous, and refill it with water. So, because he prefers the Brita, I would like save that for him and I would drink the tap. But he was like extremely critical. Like, the Brita is what you should be drinking. And this is the most boring conversation ever to most of you listening, but I just need like to know if I'm psycho.
I don't think you're psycho. I think it's a personal preference. Like,
Not okay with
to me, it's in the same category as, like, when you go in some like, to a restaurant and they're like, "Do you want water, like, lemon or no lemon, or ice or no ice?" Like, I don't think there's, like, a pro or con unless you are somewhere where it's not safe. Like, I have been to people's houses where they're like, "Oh," like, I think my parents at one point, their city water was not, like
Yeah,
everyone have a
they're on
filter.
a boil order. That's different if like
No,
a
it
pipe
wasn't a
breaks
boil
or
order,
something.
it was, like, they recommended it. I mean, you weren't gonna, like, grow a 3rd arm if you drank it, but it was, like, recommended that it's filtered. So, like, certain places, sure. But I truly just think it comes down to, like, your personal taste. Like, some people can taste the difference, some people can't.
Okay, we are going to do an entire survey. So thank you for all of you choosing to comment. If you haven't commented yet, please take 2 seconds and give us like a thumbs up, thumbs down. This is what I need to know. And then we'll get into actually the chips and salsa of this conversation. So I don't know what to call this section. We'll be right back with our team talk. Good morning, everyone. I am drinking coffee and also water so I can grow a 3rd arm. Katie Miglin's in the house. Katie, how are you? We're getting into our team talk.
Here's the thing I think is funny is that every time we record, we like don't know what to call this section, but it has a name.
It's the team talk, but like team talk is fine. I think chips and salsa are my vibe.
I do like chips and salsa. I mean, I just think, yeah, like team talk can be seen as maybe banter because it's like the team is talking. But what we really mean is this is like the education based conversation. This is like where we get into the actual content.
Yeah, like we're not going to discuss water for the next 8 minutes and if it's safe to drink out of the hose. We're going to discuss like other things.
Yeah, can we like we didn't even address that. That like as kids, that was totally not a big deal. Now it's like
You know, hose water has a taste though. That's
it
different. If
does.
you don't like the taste of hose water, but I
Like,
think
I understand that there's like all these, like studies and science, but like really, do we really have to act like it's the end of the world that people are drinking out of the hoses? Like I seem okay-ish.
I mean, yeah, you're fine. You are getting a little fat. I did want to talk to you about that.
Yeah, I just let myself go.
I think you're also growing a baby though, so I feel like that's required.
That's true. Yeah, I guess I
I'm gonna get hate DMs that I just called you fat live. I just want you to know that
and it's why I just let it sit. I didn't even say anything. I let it sit and simmer because I was like, people are going to be so mad at her. For the record, this is a joke. It did not offend me. I literally had a person yesterday that was like, "Oh my gosh, your watermelon is massive." Like, I don't care. So it's okay. It was in a safe space. Rae, you can call me fat every day until never.
I'm not calling you fat. She's growing my baby. It's fine.
Okay, well, now let's get into the team talk, which is supposed to be education based. And I think the problem is that we drank hose water as children, which is why we
can't stay on topic. Okay. So actually we're trying to share a resource for all of you and it's a free download. So we hope this is helpful.
Yay, free download.
Yay. Okay, wait. So I'm going to show you where to get it and then we can talk about it. But hold on, I have to figure out how to share my screen. But I want to make it big. Hold on. Okay.
Too many ways.
So sorry. Go to teachbetter.com. This is the homepage. I apologize that my face pops up. Scroll down and you will see when you pass all this stuff, pass, you will see this. Oh yeah, that was Chad Oshesky. Join our email list. You will see, click here to download. This is what you're looking to grab. It's an introduction grid, and we're going to talk all about how you can use this. If you haven't used it yet, it's really, really good to steal. When you click on it, it will ask you for like your email, I think, but eventually this is what it looks like. Hold on. I switched screens and now I feel like you can't see it. Hold on. Katie, stall.
Actually, this is kind of this project was kind of something in the works. Like we worked with educators all the time on creating this. And then it became kind of this, I feel like it was kind of this last summer where it was like, we needed the actual resource for anyone to grab. They don't necessarily have to be a part of our conversation. We've done lives that build an intro grid. But the reason this came to be is really educators, including ourselves, realized that rolling the grid method out in your classroom might seem like a big adjustment for students and yourself behaviorally, not necessarily content, but it's a different style of learning. And so if you feel like students need kind of to ease into the logistics, the behaviors of grid life, that's what I call it, then this is a great resource to dabble into because it doesn't focus just on content like your traditional grids that we would build. It focuses more on how do you move through a grid? What do you do in your classroom? How do you update progress monitoring? But then it can also include all kinds of things that you just need them to do anyway. So like, I know when we were building this resource, Rae, you and I were going back and forth of like, what are all the things that we would have students do at the beginning of the year that like need to be done, but would just take time. So like, that's
So I'm sorry to cut you off, but just to confirm, this is for grid method teachers, users of the grid method. This is to help your students transition to using new procedures that they will use all year long because you're going to be in some way, shape, or form using the grid.
Yep.
And this is a great step because they're learning the procedures before learning new content. So this is like something that could be 2 days long, 2 weeks long. It just depends on how much time you can kind of like commit to supporting your students to learn the behaviors, the procedures of your class. But Katie, we've been doing intro grids forever, but we never had a go-to resource that had all the tricks. We always just expected educators to either pick up some of those pieces through our live videos, or there's been like a bunch of free webinars that we've done, but this is like a really easy to use resource.
It is, and it's so adaptable to whatever you need. So we have seen educators use this to start their school year. So they have a lot of like intro to their classroom. So classroom scavenger hunts, student surveys, just assessments like retake policies, or we love like login procedures. There's so many online platforms. Students need usernames, or they need passwords, or they need to just like literally get into the program and bookmark it. So taking the grid and adapting it so that it can fold in all of those things you're going to do anyway helps them not only get those like tasks done, but also helps them navigate and understand how the grid moves, so that they can kind of see, okay, I'm progressing from like through level 1. I'm updating my tracking page or progress monitoring, whatever you've decided. But then, also being able to do some of those like tasks. So some teachers use it at the beginning of the year. We've seen some teachers use it like semester, just to kind of refresh behavior expectations, classroom expectations. And like Rae said, it can be a couple days, it can be a week. It really is up to you and kind of how long you want it to be and how much is in it.
Yeah. So if you're looking to explore the grid method, I always suggest you start with an intro grid, regardless of where you start in the year. I personally like to have this also if like new students enter my classroom the first day or two that they are in my room. I like to have them start with the intro grid. And then the other thing is, like Katie shared, I love refreshing after a break, being able to refer back to this intro grid to reinforce my expectation. So this is absolutely something that you can take a look at and steal. Again, it's a free resource. It's something that we just created this year because we recognize that we were not providing enough support around something that we find to be essential with the grid. And I know we didn't read through like all those boxes, but the reality is that there's like all of our hidden tips and tricks in it, and a lot of optional components that we found that educators seem to lean towards utilizing. So let us know if you use it. It's just supposed to give you an opportunity to feel more success as you get into using a mastery learning component in your classroom. So always like to highlight that it's there.
Yeah, I love that it's a free resource. It's accessible, but also if you're navigating it and trying to figure out how it would look in your room, you can always send us a message. We love jumping on a call and kind of talking through that. So even if you've been using the grid for a long time, but you're like, oh, I have never done an intro grid, it's a great opportunity and great thing to do. So if you need some help, reach out.
I love it with games in there, all this stuff. So cool. Excited to see all your intro grids. I know a lot of people share them in our private Facebook group over at teachbettergroup.com, but hopefully that resource is something to get you started. Katie, I'm excited to hear all of our educators in our community kind of share their tips and tricks, and we'll be monitoring the chat to hear any other suggestions that you guys have to have a successful year using mastery learning. So it'll be cool.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. We will continue to go ahead. What?
I just said thanks for joining us.
Oh yeah. Thanks for joining us. We're going to continue to highlight like free stuff.
Yeah.
Like cool resources on our website. We need to be better with that. So more to come. We hope you have a wonderful day, and make sure to drink water regardless of how you're filtering it.
Cheers, friends.
Cheers. Bye, guys. Hey, Teach Better community. Thank you so much for joining the Teach Better Today morning show every single weekday at 7 a.m. Eastern. We have so many resources for you outside of this live stream at teachbetter.com, including blogs, podcasts, and professional development that will bring our team to your school. Wherever you are listening from this morning, please make sure you are sharing and celebrating the incredible educators in this world. And hey, if you are listening over on a podcast to Teach Better Talk, we would love a 5-star review. The comments are always so entertaining. We'll see you tomorrow.